My mother and dad were both born here, but my grandma came from Bern, Switzerland.
Is that right?
That part I'm real proud to be Swiss of. And my grandma and Grandma Corn came from Germany. So I guess that makes a good combination.
I guess, well, we're doing a little background music here. Well, anyhow, so you were born on the farm. Were you born on the farm or at the hospital, or?
I was born at home on the farm.
Irene also?
Yeah.
Both of you?
Yes.
And,
Dr. Banfield was our doctor at that time.
well, it came out to the house.
Out to the house. I remember having my tonsils taken out on the kitchen table too.
Is that right? And you live right south of Gratiot, right?
Right.
Now, how long were your folks on that farm?
Well, it was a century farm, so over 100 years. I can't
Belonged
say.
to Grandpa Gille.
I see.
So
Okay, and then now growing up, did you have to milk the cows? You had chores to do, or?
we had chores to do, and we rotated, took turns. Like we cleaned the chimneys and filled the oil lamps. There was no electricity then, and I remember Mom and Dad taking us to the barn and putting us in a big box while they did the milking when we weren't big enough to get around.
Filled up the wood box. I still have the kitchen stove in the kitchen.
Oh, have you?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then when you milked the cows, did you have to help too?
I helped too, right. We had to haul the milk from the barn over to the pump house and put it in a tank and pump water on it, and I stir it till it got a certain temperature, you know.
At night,
You
that
put
was a
your
terrible
finger in it,
job.
right? And see if
Yeah,
it was
test it, to see if it was cold, right. And stir some more.
That's a good thermometer, right?
We had the old
Did you go
milk
like this afterwards, or rinse it out in the tank?
in the tank.
And you had pads in the strainer pads to, filter everything out almost like a coffee filter. And
Well,
people I'm sure wouldn't know what they were nowadays. They probably see the strainers, but they wouldn't know what a strainer pad was.
Well, anyhow, then on the milking part there, I noticed you put in there, you lived kind of in a lane there.
Yes, a little grade there.
And how did you have to haul your milk to Gratiot?
Well, Dad at one time, he took it down to after hauling it to town with the team.
Well, we'll start with
quite
that
often.
then. Okay, we'll start with hauling
Hauling it to town. And then after that, when they first got trucks, he'd pull a milk cart down to the road and set the cans out, then have to pull the milk cart and the empty cans back up to the barn. We have the milk cart shed.
Yeah, that's the two-wheeler.
Two-wheeler.
That was kind of a
We-
standard cart there.
We
right?
each have those yet.
Okay. All right, now what size farm did you have?
Well, the home place was 100 and what?
240.
240.
I didn't realize it was that large.
Yeah.
Had a lot of work there.
And then there are, it was 80 acres additional to that.
All right, so you kind of work together, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. All right, tell me something about like going up the threshing ring, and Irene, can you relate to that? Or?
My dad always had to go in the straw pile. That was his job.
I see.
We had they'd come and stay for dinner and supper, haul it in with the horses.
And who did the cooking? Did you have to help in the
Oh,
kitchen?
Mom had baked for days and days ahead, and pies and pies and pies. And one guy would steal the other guy's pie at the table, and you'd have to get another piece. And it was a neighborhood job. But it all got done in time, and everybody worked together. There was no, I won't come or I won't do it. Just all the neighbors showed up.
How many cows did you milk? What was your small herd, do you think, like growing up?
Probably 20, something like that.
And did you have to milk by hand too?
Yeah, all by hand, all by hand.
And we we had one that kicked, you got a pole, and you put that pole up by it. It could go backwards and forwards, but it couldn't kick out, you know.
Or you tied the two legs together to the
No,
pole?
you put the pole up beside it.
And lay the pole right against the wall,
Yeah.
fast there.
You put it up, fasten the pole here and fasten it here. The
Oh, I
cow
see.
could kick back and forth, but you couldn't kick out.
Kick sideways. Did any of them did you ever spill any milk in that bucket between your legs there?
No, not very often, not too often. Once in a while, we give the cats a little drink.
Well, that's part of the barnyard scene,
Yeah.
is the cats, right?
They know that schedule too. They'd be there at the barn milking time, the cats would.
We got a picture that this car Marty painted, and of course, the first thing they got is the cats in there. And I thought, well, that's just a natural picture.
That's
of the
right.
cats, and they kept the nice away.
And you didn't truck everything then. Now, when we moved to the farm where we are, they drove all the cattle from where Joe was living before. The neighbors got together and they drove them, and that must have been, well, 15, 16 miles.
We lived up on the old hill one.
Yeah, top of the hill there.
No, well, not on top of the ground, just as then, as you go into water, after
Oh,
you come over the hill from,
Well, right north of Kradonovich's.
oh, I see, way over there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where the edges are, right? Sure.
Yeah.
So you're part of that heritage. I know where it's at.
And they drove the cattle by, you know, the neighbors got together and just drove them all out, no problem.
Well, they had fences too, along the roads,
Yeah,
and then you had your
but,
natural fences of the trees and.
Right.
and
You couldn't drive 2 cows now.
I said, there's no
Get that
fence.
far, let alone a herd.
There isn't a fence there or a piece of brush or anything.
No.
I gotta bring this up too. You know, today, how it's changed. You remember helping people move, that how the housewife would have to clean everything up?
Oh, yes,
Yes.
Oh God, they had to have that house just as clean and
Clean,
immaculate because the next person was gonna
Come.
move it in. And if that house wasn't clean, it was
That's
their
right.
pride. Their pride was it's their pride that they didn't leave a beautiful or a real clean place. And I remember helping, they'd say, get out of here, we gotta get this clean. The other party is moving in.
Right.
And today, these people leave everything in a mess and you gotta clean up for 2 or 3 days
Right.
after you go.
Right.
What a change in our society today, right?
And although the families are mostly good sized, that time everybody helped. I mean, you all had your job.
Now, did you find out, do you remember any cheese factories in Gratiot at all? Did you find anything
No,
out?
I never found anything out
Oh,
about that.
okay.
Nobody seemed to know.
I
You know,
see.
it'd have to be an older,
That generation that's missing that we're trying to record ours,
Right.
you know, see. But I remember Julie Bachman was there, and I don't know who I can ask, but I'll have to ask that Mrs. Reed, she's got.
I remember your cheese factory on the hill there above where Hefley's live now.
The old Opie factory.
Yes. I
Okay.
remember going there to visit.
Well, tell me about it there. Well, I might be interested to hear about it myself, you know.
Well, your dad always treated us to wine, and then he'd always say to your mother, Lizzie, get the lunch ready, and I remember a good lunch. We always had a good lunch, and I remember you got the dolls and the toy box out, not the girls, but Johnny did. Johnny got the the toy box and the dolls out before the girls came, and we just looked forward to it as a kind of a good time. We did this once or twice a year, and it was just a
Now,
good time for us.
This is the factory between Gratiot and Warren or between the town line?
No, the factory up there by Heflin.
Oh, yeah, which is the Opie factory, you can say that, yeah.
Now, that was a big deal for that one visit, you know, or 2 a year. We just kind of looked forward to that.
Well, then, hauling that milk to Gratiot then, tell me about some of your school business. Where did you go to school, Irene?
Gratiot all my life.
Gratiot all your life, and I suppose you went there also, right?
I went there all my life, and the first day I went, I remember what I said. I'm not going back because nobody put a ticket on.
Why is that?
I don't know, I just thought, you know, I was away from home and I didn't want to consent to the fact that I had to take my lunch, see. I thought somebody should be getting dinner.
Yes, I see. And you went to grade school and high school there also?
Right.
Now,
Well-
I noticed in there a couple of times you mentioned bobsled here.
Well, when the weather was bad, Dad put us in the bobsled. Put some straw, put a blanket over the top.
Covered up with horse blankets.
Is it?
Took us to school.
Oh, my goodness.
And Mom, I used to have long curls, and Mom would curl them, and sometimes they'd be kind of frosty on the end by the time I'd get to school.
All right, now, like your father never had any sons, so you had the two daughters. See, and I want to kind of bring this in here, and I was hoping to have another interview today of the important part the girls played. I mean, you took the men's place, and you had to make hay, right?
Right, drove the horse on the hay fork, drove the horse out in the field when they built the load, behind the hay loader.
Sure, you drove, and your father had to stack the hay on the
Stacked the
wagon.
hay on the
and you had-
wagon, I drove the horses.
With the hay fork, you had a big hay fork, and you hooked the rope on a single tree. It was a curved one that you used, and hooked the rope on that single tree. You either drove the horse out, or if it was kind of a frisky one, you let it out, turn around, brought it back, picked up the rope so you didn't get tangled up.
And it pulled right up to the...
It wasn't the most desirable job, but you did it. You did it till the hay was done.
And that was quite a job, driving those horses out in the field,
That's right.
because they had little ravines, right? And
Right.
ditches that you had to kind of go slow over.
And when the barn got full, they had hay poles. You put up 2 poles and crossed them, dug them in the ground, each one and anchored them, and had a hay fork, and you made a haystack outside.
All right, now, like the feeding that hay, now, could you ladies have enough power to throw the hay down from the...
Going from the hay chute, yeah.
From the hay chute?
Do that.
How I always
Down
thought
the
that
hay
was...
chute.
I always thought that was the hardest job, because it always would tie in like this or tie like that.
It was packed down, it wasn't easy, but you helped do it. And then you threw it down the hay chute, and then you scattered it out in the manger afterwards.
Now, on the manure, did you have a driveway barn or
No, you carried the manure out and put it in a wagon, and you tried to get it out through the warmest part of the day, Generally, Dad would come in and eat breakfast and then go out, and then the barn would be cleaned afterwards, and bedding and everything.
All it out.
Had to help spread out the bedding and stuff for night, be all ready for night chores.
A lot of work in those days. Now, for grinding feed, how did you grind your feed then? Did they take it to town?
Take it to
down
town when there was a mill. And I think I remember the folks giving the cattle or not the cattle so much as pigs, whole oats and corn, ear corn. It wasn't shelled, you just give it to them.
Just all of it, chew it off the cob like we
Chew
do,
it off
like we
with the
do with
cob.
sweet corn at this time of year, right?
And I remember when my folks husked the corn, they had a box in the wagon, and they picked out the nice ears, and that was their seed corn for the next year. They put those nice ears as they come to them, they put them in a box, and then at night when they came in, they'd have that box of seed corn. That'd be
Did you
set
have these little
aside.
racks that you
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
sale where they got
Still have
the
them.
iron sticking out?
I got one of those,
Still got.
and you had a husking peg, which I still got.
I was gonna guard my hand.
Right?
Well,
And-
you didn't have to get in on that though, did you?
No, I didn't help with that.
Oh, my goodness sakes. Now, tell me about your school a little bit, Irene. We taught country school here, I know you said you taught here for 40 years.
Right, top 20 in the country, 20 in town. And sometimes when I'd go in the wintertime, I'd be the first one and the only one that would make a track. The kids walked.
What school did you teach in?
Well, the first one was Cub Hollow.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Taught there for 6 years. And I went up to Center, Darlington. I was there for 6 years. And went out to Vickers School. I was there for 6 years. Seymour Central, I taught there for a couple of years. And I went into
And how far, you mostly up to 8th grade then, did you?
all 8 grades.
All 8th grades.
All 8 grades.
What was probably the lowest number you had in school?
gee, maybe 15, 20.
So you always had that many.
Oh, yeah.
And most of those boys had chores and they
Right.
were farming people.
Right, that's right, they were farmers, right.
You had a Christmas program.
Oh, Christmas program, or sometimes I have a Thanksgiving one, picnic at the end of the year, you know. And then when I was at Belmont, we had the Belmont Fair.
Oh.
That was a big to-do.
Well, whose job was it to feed the calves?
That helped. We used to feed them on a pail, not a nipple thing. And sometimes they were pretty stubborn, but,
Now, how did you get them started?
oh, you had to put your finger in the mouth and see if they suck the finger first, and hold the finger down in the milk. And I remember sometime, if you could find a little corn cup, you'd try that too. But Dad wasn't too happy about us trying that. He said, take your finger, that'll work better. But we got them trained. It wasn't easy.
Also, I always thought that was an art, you know. You give them that dry finger to
Yeah.
keep moving it over to the pail, right?
Yeah.
Put the pail in, get a taste of milk, and
Yeah,
that finger comes
right.
out of the mouth, right?
Right. It's time to drink.
Well, that's part of the dairyman's job.
That's right.
And the bulls you sold where?
Market or neighbors.
And where was your market about that time?
Well, they used to have one in Gratiot over there by the lumber yard.
Yes.
Where Phil Kell was at for years. Always. I can't.
Holly ran it.
That's over in Riverside, which is right next to Gratiot.
Yeah.
And they used to have probably, and I don't recall, but I suppose every town had a little
Oh, I think
market
they
sometimes,
probably
right?
did.
Yes, and they had a mill there at one time at Riverside too.
And the railroad, did you ever ride on the railroad coming through Gratiot?
No, never had a ride on it.
I read it on a train in my life. I mean, years old.
Is that right? Never been on a train?
I always told him I was taking to Warren and then go down to Freeman, but I never did.
Well, Joe, when you grew up over there by Apple, or where did you grew up around Apple?
No, west of Shelby.
Oh,
That's where I started out. Lived there for 16, 17 years. Then I moved to New Deegan, south of New Deegan. You used to call it the furnace lot. And then
the call it
the furnace lot. I don't know why they did
Furnace
it.
lot.
furnace lot.
I don't know why they call it that, but that's what they always did. And then when stayed there 1 year, and I moved to O'Neill's, north of that, about 3-4 miles.
But your father milked also?
Yes.
And you milked by hand, you learned to milk
Yeah.
by hand. And you did the same things these girls did, only then you was a man, right?
Well, you guess.
I just want, I think it's so, you know, because you got two ladies here and girls, you know, today, of course, today now, that women are starting to get back into the man's world too, but they both came school teachers, and do you ever figure out how many lives that you have affected in your
I don't know, but I wish I'd have kept track of all the students that I had. Because now I meet students and I know I've had them in school, but I can't always hook up a name with them. And you met the parents. I mean, you had no problems getting the parents to come to school then. I mean, the first year I taught school, I think, every parent came. And they'd come in the morning, like when they bring the kids, or whenever we had a program, everybody would come. It was 100% participation. And when I taught at Dunbarton 1 year, they had just closed the Summit School, and I had 32 students in all 8th grades. And we had
32?
no problems.
There was more discipline in those days, you think?
That's right.
Well, I think the children benefited though. The little ones listened to what the older ones said. And I remember one parent, well, you probably know him, he's still living, Joe Francis.
Yes.
He said, you better watch what you say at school. And I said, what? Because he said, when Donna Jo comes home, she lines the other two up and they play school. And she says everything that you say all day. He said, it's a complete repetition. So, you know, that you knew they were listening to what you said and it carried over.
Well,
And when
Irene,
you had a program, everybody came and brought lunch, food. When I'd have a mother's club, when I taught at Red Rock, I was there for 2 years and I only had, I think, 3 or 4 families. And those mothers would come with picnic baskets filled with food. And they'd come at different times. We always had different classes. Once they'd come for arithmetic and once they'd come for reading and once they'd come for language. And I looked forward to it. It was an enjoyable time. But now, how do you get every parent to come? The ones that need to come the most never show up. I found that out when I went from the country school into town. It was a great difference in parent cooperation.
well, you aren't part of it anymore. See, it becomes, I think sometimes maybe say it's too large. You know, you get lost in the commotion. You know, it seems like the bigger the school, they always say, well, let's have a bigger school. And today I find the children saying, well, I'm going to move. I'd like to go to a smaller town and get a smaller school. You know, and for a while they just kept consolidating. Well, any other interesting stories you can tell me, Irene, about in the school there? Did you have a picnic at the end of the
We
year?
had a picnic at the end of the year.
Did you have a school, or did you take them someplace?
No,
Or?
we had it right at the school ground, and yes,
And everybody goes.
everybody come with big baskets and filled up with food, you know.
Did anybody ever come barefoot?
No, I never.
Everybody had shoes.
Everybody had shoes on, right.
All right, did you ever have where you had like a sickness, shall we say, like measles or mumps, or you maybe have to close the school? Or,
Well, no, kids had them, but you know, we never had to shut down. But we had to build our own fire, you know, haul in the wire. Those little houses out in back, you know.
That's right, and keep them.
Right.
Paper there, you didn't have catalogs, you had the regular
Regular paper.
Well, now, what if a person wanted to use that house to school? What would you have to do? I mean, how would that child tell you what to do? Did he have to raise just his hand, or one finger, or 2 fingers, or what?
Usually raised his hand or come up and asked me,
Okay.
you know, to leave the room.
You don't remember anybody where they first raised 1 finger,
Oh,
each so much time, and then 2 was...
No, I just let mine go, tell them to go not to be more than 1 hour at a time. When that one come back, then another one had to go, and they just went.
All right, back to the snow. You said you'd make the track, you know, yourself. And
That's right.
weren't you a little nervous, huh?
My dad bought me a little Ford car.
And what year was that then?
Oh dear, well, let's see, about 44. And I drive that little old Ford over those hills, and one hill and another, you know,
That's over to Cub Hollow
over
there?
to Come Hollow.
There's some big hills there.
Right, I'd be the only one some days that would make a track there,
Is that right?
but made it.
Well, what would you do then when the road drifted shut? How did you know, let the people know, or did you always make
Well,
that?
I usually always made it. Always made it. Yeah, always made it.
I remember, I got snowbound once. It was at school, the car was right beside the schoolhouse, and Orville Wright came with the team hooked onto the manure spreader to get the little girl, and he graciously took me to, and I stayed at their house overnight. And I'll never forget, when I got in the house, I said, oh, I don't know what you're cooking, but it sure smells good. So I sat up to the table and ate a usual supper. And when supper was over, she said, well, Orville, do you want to tell her? No, he said, you go ahead and tell her. She said, do you know what you ate for supper? And I said, well, I assumed it was steak smothered in onions. And I said, I thought it was delicious. He said, well, it wasn't steak, Gladys, it was deer meat. But that was the only thing we had home from the locker that we had to cook. And I didn't want to ask you if you liked it, because if you didn't, then there was nothing else to pick from. But I ate the deer meat, and it was cooked, and it was delicious.
Well, Joe, how did you meet this Irene, or this Gladys here?
She taught in Dunbar School, and I live up there in the district, and I just got stopping in
At the school.
and got, well, stopping at the school doctor.
I think I first met you doing a dance.
That could maybe the dance, I can't remember that.
Those old settlers down the grass hill?
The apple pickers ball and that was a big event. There was three big dance affairs. Sabine and Kenner's ball at Argyle, the apple pickers ball at Applewood, and the old settlers at Gratiot. Those were big events.
Did you ever know Tony Rosalie?
Yeah.
Yes,
He made cheese at the Red Roof, right?
Yes.
yes.
We had a wake down there, and we went to the wake for Gratiot for Knutson, and we decided we'd go to the apple pickers. Tony went in there with my wife. He said, "Tom, you don't care that it's mit your woman, do you?" Did you hear Tony saying that? He danced with my wife, and they won the 50-pound apple pie. Because I happened to be the waltz cart then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Tony. You remember any cheesemakers around there? Gratiot. Did you know Herman Mader at all, or?
Oh, yes.
I
I
do
remember the
The
name.
name John Mills, he still lives up there in Baxter.
Yeah, down
Walter Raleigh, of course.
Walter.
Walter Raleigh.
Oh, where did your milk go then?
Well, where you mean now when I got to O'Neill? Or
Yes.
down-
Well, either place, you know.
When we first moved down there, we went to Gratiot,
I think we went to Gratiot,
All right,
and then to Raleigh.
and then to Raleigh.
and then you got way back from Raleigh then?
Yeah. And that's, I quit milking, close to 20 years,
Went into beef.
and went in the beef.
What kind of beef cows you got?
Herb did have
Herefords. Whole Herefords or the regular Herefords?
regular herbs.
And did you finish them out or?
I sold the cattle, Wallace, feeder cattle, we weighed about 400 or 500 pounds, and raised another bunch.
And not easier milking. I'm going to ask you this here quick because we're kind of talking about small farming and however it is. Now, there were a lot of small farms there, that Johnny Senior.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of a small farm there, and who else lived right around that area there?
Used to be the McQuillan farm down there.
Yeah, for the old Joe shop did.
McCullen
You
Farm.
can see by the barns, they aren't that large.
Frank Gille was west of us.
But most of those barns were kind of small. You know.
Ours is 80.
Hendrickson's lived down the
That was
hill.
bigger for him. That's where John Schultz was at, the bigger farm.
Was there a cheese factory in Come Hollow? I don't think so.
No.
No,
No,
It's not that I can
no,
remember.
I don't think.
Well, it's been nice visiting with you. Anything else you can think about school or story or?
Farmers did their own butchery mostly back in
Okay.
those days. And I remember picking chickens and picking ducks. And then I remember Mom rendered her own lard, and she roasted meat and covered it with lard. Then we had a smokehouse. If you wanted it smoked, they put it in the smokehouse. So you had to check that smokehouse to see that the smoke was going right, you know, so many days. So we'd stuff our own sausages, or we'd go to the neighbors. I remember going to Frank Eckerman's and helping to stuff sausages. And also, Mom had raised ducks, and Mrs. Eckerman had raised ducks, and then we'd have a picking bee. And you'd pick maybe 50, you know, and you'd wear gunny sacks for aprons and
Well, a lot of history. And Irene, I want to thank you for coming. I've been calling her, and bring your sister here with you, and Frank Gille, all of you. And we'll help record this in the Historic Cheesemaking Center. Thanks again, Joe, for bringing the ladies up here.